Hi, this is RunMcTube. Today on the Hunter Call of the Wild, and we're doing some hunting at Emerald Coast. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to be talking about the Outback update, which is out now. So we're going to go over the full patch notes, and I'm going to be talking for quite a while. So enjoy your hunting while I'm gabbering away. So here's the full patch notes. We're in for an update brimming with new features, quality of life improvements, and bug fixes. Let's dive into the full patch notes. Additional new features. Animals now have a chance to create an interactive audio clue when fleeing. Interacting with an audio clue will now display an estimated distance to the target. Springbok, European bison and plains bison have gotten new true rack horn designs. Alligators have gotten more aggressive with the new addition of saltwater crocodiles. They will attack more often and are more clever about how and when they will get close and personal with you. So be careful out there. Alligators and crocodiles will now float to the surface for retrieval when they die underwater. Lost a kill to the murky swamp water in the past, never again. The harvest screen has been redesigned. Players may now tag their favourite customization options to make them appear in a favourites menu for easy access. You may now choose which version of your trophy lodge to load into the multiplayer games. You may no longer switch to different lodges after loading into the multiplayer game. This is to prevent the trophy lodge from failing to sync between players. Adjustments and improvements. Gameplay. The XP requirement values for various weapons, ammunition and gear items has been revised to make them less confusing and to make some basic equipment more accessible to new players. That's my first diamond bantang and it was a level 4. I didn't even know it was going to make diamond. 223 ammunition should be more effective for all 223 compatible weapons. The red deer, feral goat and fallow deer have had their fur updated to improve their look. Alligators in Mississippi should spend more time on land now. Mexican bobcats will be now out for drinking into the wee hours of the morning. To reflect changes on the updated species, the springbok, European bison, plains bison, alligators and Mexican bobcat populations will be reset. UI. Players wishing for a more immersive experience can now disable the control hints in the UI by turning them off in the interface settings. If the hide all clues hotkey is activated, a control hint will appear showing the key to press to show them again. The main menu has been straightened out and is no longer canted at a jaunty angle. Animals harvested in the hunting profile have been reorganized to put Great One at the top of the list. Closing the customization menu with unsaved changes will now prompt you to save your changes before leaving. We've hopped over to Tier Warex. I want to show you some of these new fallow furs. Visuals. Added new shadow rendering improvements, screen space contact shadows. These are on by default on newer consoles. PC players may activate them by turning on the option in the video settings menu. Shotgun animations were improved. Bug fixes for gameplay. Capercaillie will now react properly to being shot while performing certain aggressive animations. Placed turkey decoys will no longer vanish when you leave a reserve. The keen eye skill will correctly be triggered away from the lookout towers. The muscle memory perk will now work as it should be. We fixed a sight calibration issue with the Hudzack 50 caps lock. The Grelic drilling rifle should no longer leave you unable to fire when switching from shotgun to rifle mode. An issue was resolved where revolvers could become jammed when hip firing with manual chambering enabled. Developers note on this, we made them act like double action revolvers when hip firing, which improved their stability. The reward weapons from Parque Fernando will now unlock correctly when the missions are completed. The ultimate memento mission on Medved Tiger can be completed now. We fixed an issue with the mission mucking it up for science on Vahunga Savannah, where it was difficult to find one of the objectives. We've addressed an issue in the Cats and Cradles mission in the New England Mountains Reserve that caused objectives to be displayed out of order. Cans shot with rifles and pistols during the target practice mission in Rancho del Arroyo should fall over now. UI. We moved the default keybind for hide or clues to U. Developers note on this action was unintentionally set to C. Make sure you reset your keybinds to default to get this to change. The default key for saving a loadout could be also bound to scrolling through items. This has been fixed, and saving a loadout is now only bound to R. The keybind for activating the rangefinder bow sight was the same as the keybind for spotting. The bow sight is now R when aiming with a bow, or Y/triangle on a controller. We fixed an issue where any of the items in your inventory that were not saved in your current loadout were not kept in the active inventory between gameplay sessions. The weapon wheel UI will no longer display confusing text strings in place of weapon descriptions when quitting the game with a scope weapon in your inventory if it wasn't saved to your loadout. The option to save a loadout will now work correctly when the select loadout menu is open. We fixed a UI issue that could happen when changing scopes in the weapon wheel while reloading. Weapon customizations from the Hunter Power Pack have been renamed to better indicate their origins. Customizations applied to the Caversham Steward 12 gauge will no longer be applied to other similar 12 gauge shotguns. Animal harvests are now being recorded correctly in the hunting profile. Green wing teal will no longer display the wrong icon when viewed in the trophy lodge. We've solved an issue with the on-screen button prompt missing when attempting to pet the dog in the trophy lodge, because they deserve all your pets. When editing a trophy placement, only the base of the chosen trophy will be highlighted to make selection easier. Points of interest icons from birds spotted with the tag skill will now properly disappear from the map. Motion blur now correctly applied to the sights while using a scope. The map icon for the Parque Fernando Reserve has been accurately placed on the world map. Entering invalid login info while signing to your Apex account or signing after using forgot password will no longer cause the game to become unresponsive. When purchasing the New England Mountains Veteran Cosmetic Pack on Epic Games Store, you will now properly unlock the corresponding cosmetics. We fixed an issue where the thank you for your purchase message would remain stuck on the Trophy Lodge menu. If a player had brought a Trophy Lodge DLC from there, trophies of animals with no medal will no longer show as a bronze medal in the Trophy Lodge UI. Owned DLC will no longer show up as a recommended after purchase. Corrected a typo in the codex entry for Serpent Player's Playhouse. On the Windows Store PC version, we fixed an issue that caused UI keybinds to save incorrectly. Developers note, as a result, Windows Store players will have their keybinds reset to default after the update. If you started a new game after progressing through part of the Hunt Club beta event, you can now properly claim your rewards. Developers note, the animal scared statistic in the codex shows the number of times a player scared an animal, regardless of whether they scared them before, which is why these numbers don't necessarily match up. Audio. Grey wolves, red deer, red foxes and feral goats should have audible calls again. Reduce the occurrence of the zone transition audio to prevent it from spamming when players move back and forth across a zone border. Audio should now be in sync with the animation when another player fires a rifle from the hip. Visuals. Various animals should no longer slide around and look odd in multiplayer. We've taken away their skates. An issue that would cause a moose to look odd when starting to move from idle has been resolved. We fixed an issue with female alligator animations. Animation issues that could be sometimes happen when animals were stopping have been addressed. Existing geese models have been adjusted to make their necks more closely resemble actual geese. Cinnamon teal models have been fixed. We've fixed some issues with the springbok skeleton when viewed in X-ray on harvest screen. We've corrected a minor visual problem with the melanistic mallard models. We fixed a clipping issue with one of the Bob White quail trophy poses. Trophy pose for mouflons has been added to fix a bug where their horns weren't being shown accurately. We fixed an issue that could cause the dog's head to spin round. We didn't want you to see that. The dog will no longer become invisible while performing play or pet interactions with certain graphics settings. Skin tones on the lower arms are now properly matched while wearing the African outfit. Wearing the Africa outfit will no longer give certain players characters a bold spot. We've fixed an issue with half transparent phantom trees appearing on Tijuana at low graphics complexity settings. We've addressed an issue with fog rendering that made it look weirdly pixelated, particularly when rendering with thin vegetation. We fixed an issue on PC where the cursor would not stay locked inside the game window during gameplay if the player had multiple monitors and the game was being displayed on a monitor other than the primary one. The TAA sharpness setting now applies properly even when FSR is disabled. With this change, things should look smoother than ever. FXAA and TAA anti-aliasing settings have improved to reduce graphic ghosting, yet another fix that will smooth out the graphics. Players will no longer awkwardly slide around while crawling and looking through the binoculars in third person. Backpacks have gotten several improvements to look better in third person on ATVs and on other players. Landscapers were set to Hirschfelden to clean up trees near the bridge at the shooting range. They even took a trip to Parque Fernande to remove tree blocking targets at the archery range. Tritium sights no longer become hidden when swapping ammo after equipping one. The Zarzar 308 Grelic drilling rifle and crossbow look better when viewed in third person. Multiplayer on Steam, we've fixed an issue that allowed players to join their friends' games even if they were set to private. Performance, we've fixed a couple of crashes connected to using the dog in multiplayer. Auto saving frequency has now been reduced. On the Windows Store PC version, we fixed a bug that causes the game to occasionally crash during setup. Console players who had to fulfill the trophy requirements on PlayStation but were unable to unlock them during the Reventually Coast update should now be able to claim them. Water Waves should now be working on PlayStation 5. On PlayStation, the game should no longer get stuck. Attempting to log into the PlayStation network is unreachable, but the console is online. We fixed the issue for console players where the camera could not be tilted in certain situations. Wowee, I can have a breather. What an update! The Outback update. Emerald Coast, Australia, Great One Fallow Deer, all those fixes, all those changes. What an update. Outback update. What a great change to the game. It's made it better in so many ways, and we've got one of the best maps ever made. So happy about this update. So I'm Ron McTube, been covering the Outback update for the Hunter Call of Wild. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.